Hello everyone, I'm Knee High Caliber, and when you see the brown paper down in the old coffee table here, you know what time it is. That's right, it's time for another KHC Projects video, and today we have something that's actually pretty special to me. It's a project I kind of conceived when I was a child, about 8 or 9 years old. It's kind of an unusual one. We're going to see how far we get with it. It may become a two-parter depending on what's going on, but yeah, here we have a pirate ship. And you may recognize this if you grew up in the 80s and 90s and you had a fish tank. This is a sunken fish tank pirate ship decor. It's basically just a plastic boat, and this one I think has like bubbles shoot out of it and stuff like that. They had a few different kinds. There was a stern wheel paddle boat. There was a UFO. They had a little floating UFO that would go up and down the water. I think the most famous one was a treasure chest that opened up and bubbles shot out of it. That you've definitely seen because they referenced it in the movie Finding Nemo. So you've definitely seen that little doodad. Anyway, they were pretty famous, or memorable as far as that goes. They were made originally by a company called Penn Plax. I don't know who makes this one. Apparently it's Venice. Okay, so Venice. And yeah, they made a bunch of different ones. There were other companies like Hearts made a couple of them. But yeah, anyway, what does that have to do with projects? Well, when I was about 8 or 9, my cousin had a fish tank. I had a fish tank too. It wasn't very elaborate. It was more of a fish bowl. And yeah, didn't have much decor to go into it. My cousin had a fish tank, and my cousin had the stern wheel paddle boat sunken in it. And for whatever reason growing up, I just really wanted to make it float again. Not again, because it never floated to begin with, but I sort of wanted, there was like a desire to like raise the shipwreck and make it functional. I think it probably started out with me just wanting to take it out of the fish tank and play with it, but that's how those things go. I mean, this is kind of a cool toy in and of itself, even without the fish tank. But anyway, so yeah, I've been wanting to do that for years. And I realized, especially with this particular one, how the cuts in the hull seem like they line up. I'm wondering if I could put this back together, seal the holes in the hull, probably add a weight or something to the bottom to counterbalance it, and make it float again. Paint it, do it all up. That's my plan for this. It's a little ambitious. It's definitely a mad scientist idea I had in my brain, kind of. But yeah. So that's what I'm hoping to do now, because again, that's been a few years in the making, and I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and it's also kind of the project that inspired me to do this show on YouTube. So that's what we're going to attempt. And hopefully we can do it in a single part episode this month, but like I said, if it becomes a two-part episode, no biggie. I already have a bunch of glues and paints and stuff we can use, and I also bought this recently. This is a epoxy modeling putty, I think. It's basically used to seal holes and stuff in model kits, mostly seams and things like that. Very small stuff, but I'm wondering if we could use it to seal the holes up in the ship and the deck and all that stuff too. And I don't know, maybe we'll have a chance with that. I might have to build a dam behind the holes in order to apply this stuff that way, but we'll see. We'll see how far we get with it. So yeah, without further ado, why don't we open this thing up and take a look at what we have. So yeah, I'm gonna moved our pirate props out of the way. We don't really need those. We got our usual tools here. We got our bell telephone pliers again. We got this kind of long neck screwdriver thing. That's fine. A pair of scissors. We'll probably need that to open this. We also got another pair of pliers. These are really good for working with electrical because they have no insulation on the handles, and when you stick this in there, you could tell what voltage it is by the way it feels. Don't actually do that. Please don't. Also got another screwdriver, and I got a new knife I bought recently. This is a World War II U.S. Army Signal Corps pocket knife. Got it at a yard sale. So we'll have that available to use as well. So yeah, let's see what we need to do to get into this thing here. Shouldn't be too hard, I think. Just undo this tape here on both sides. I don't know why this tape's bigger. All right. What does this say? Operating directions. Yeah, this has an airline into it, so we're gonna have to remove all that stuff. We'll just throw that over there. That's fine. I've never actually touched one of these before because, again, the one I saw when I was growing up was in a fish tank and I couldn't put my hand in it to really touch it. So, boom, I have touched it. It is pretty nifty. So yeah, this is the pirate ship model or fish tank decor. As you can see, it's in two pieces. I don't know if it's two separate pieces it's made in or if it's made in one piece and they separate it. I don't know how they make this thing. It's got all the masts and stuff. Might think about making sails for it. I doubt it's going to blow in the wind and sail on a pond or something like that, but we can give it a shot. We're going to see how far we get with it. But yeah, there's the pirate ship. So yeah, let's see what we got here. I'm going to open this up here. Got more tape. All right. Do a little. I don't want to cut myself. That would be bad. Oh, there's a tab there. Of course there would be. Oh, well, the back opened up, so you don't really need that. Got the classic toy style twisty ties. That's cool. That's good. And there we go. And what's interesting is sometimes they sold it just as this, just the bow section, which is interesting because, yeah, it's like they don't have, like if you wanted a cheaper version, I guess you bought just this. Okay. And I've seen it a lot just as that, just as the bow. I think I may have even seen just the stern. This one was a little bit difficult to get, but, you know, thanks to Amazon. By the way, nothing is a paid sponsorship in this at all. Not Venny's, not the defunct fish tank decor companies I mentioned earlier. They wouldn't be because they have no way to pay me. But anyway. Alright, so there's the bow. We got the stern section here. Get the stern out. Move the bow over here. Get rid of that. Don't need that anymore. Alright. We got a boat. We got two halves of a boat. Alright, so there's the air lead-in for the bubble maker. And I guess it looks like it's just in there. I don't know if you can see it. Can't really see, it's too dark in there. I don't have a flashlight near me. Yeah, that was another thing. The name of this back in the 80s was Black Allah, but now it's Black Fala. So they had to change that, obviously. I agree with that. It's kind of an unusual name for a pirate ship anyway. We may put our own name on it anyway, I don't know. But, yeah. Got the whole backwards facing wheel there, although it's really like stand this way towards it. Anyway. Alright. So that's the stern and the bow. Oh, the bow has, okay, so, alright, so this must blow, alright, so it's got a little hose going underneath this boat here, and it must blow the boat up underwater as it feeds bubbles through it. Okay, that's cool. Alright, so the boat, move the tools for a second, get this stuff out of here. So here's the boat. Alright, I'll just do a little close in on that. There. There we are. And it's cool because it comes in two pieces and they're not connected, so you can basically just say it like sank any way you want. It's kind of a cool piece of decor there. I like that stuff. All right, so now that we have it out of the box, I think I want to test these two sections here to see just how well they line up. And one of the masts is getting in the way. I don't know if I can undo that. It's got a little bit of a tab there. I don't want to break it too much. There we go. Wondering if this will sit back on top of the mast. Try and undo this. There we go. Cool. It more or less sits there. It's probably missing a lower mast, so we may need to actually 3D print a few items for this. That's my guess. Definitely a rear mast, because I'm almost certain that is missing. Yeah, it's missing another level of sails, like right there. It's cool that it goes together like that. It's kind of a modular shipwreck kit. So we'll put our mast over there. Okay. Try and take this mast apart now. Okay. This may have had more masts in the past versions of it. I want to say, unless this is, no, this might go up here like this. This little piece here is melted burn. I don't know. It was molded that way, but we might be able to heat that up and bend it back into position. I don't know if it'll be as long as this side, but it's something. And then there's like a few different things we could heat up to make this straighter and all that. At the very least, it's going to be a cool model. Whether or not it floats is another story. I don't know if this goes back here. I mean, I guess it could. But it also looks like it could go up here. So there's that. Although it's kind of loose up here. Make sure I'm in the camera here. Keep the bow over. Yeah, so it definitely fits back here. But whether or not it's going to fit up here is another story. Okay. And then we have a boom. Ooh, look at that. That's already straight. I don't know what this is. It almost looks like some kind of protuberance. It also looks like the spanker is actually on the center mast there when it should be on the rear mast. Unless it's a spinnaker. I doubt it. Yeah, there's like a notch holding it in there. Okay, so I think that's enough to line these things up. Hold our hose back for the moment. So yeah, let's see how well the two pieces of hull line up. And survey is probably already saying not very well. They look like they should line up. They don't really line up. The deck seems like it lines up a little bit better. Almost want to say, see, it's got this boat out of there. I don't want to break anything, but we got to launch. Oh, it's got a magnet on it. That's interesting. Or a weight to bring it back down. Okay, yeah, that's cool. We'll put the boat over there. Yeah, I want to say it has part of the cargo hold doors there. You see that little U-bend in there? I'll zoom in on that and post. Yeah, like that. Oh, just like that. Actually kind of holds it together pretty nicely. Well, not incredibly nicely. Nicely enough. I mean, now that it's kind of one piece. And I guess we could fill in those holes there. That is straight through to the bottom. Yeah, those deck brakes are pretty well lined up. And like I said, it's holding together kind of okay like that. That's a starting point at least. All right, so what is the next step? The next step, I think, at the very least, we'll separate them again. And we'll probably find a way to pull this hose out. I don't want to damage it just yet. Push it back in the hole there. Maybe take this little piece off there. That's fine. I think that was supposed to go like that. Grab our electrician's pliers. Pull back through. Just pull that out there. Yeah, that's fine. Alright. Hose is out. Alright. Well, we won't need that part anymore. Deck's pretty well in there. I mean, we can cover this up with putty. This is basically where the little tabs are to hold the deck in place. Hole there. Hole there. Holes all over the deck. Yeah, my plan is we use the putty and we smooth it over as much as possible. When it hardens, I could use a pick or something to recreate the deck lines. I think that would work the best. Some of the gold paint's coming off there. That's fine. Again, we're going to repaint the whole thing, so. All right, so I've been looking this thing over and kind of seeing where some of the parts look like they're very similar, if not the same parts. These two mast sections are definitely two differently molded parts. This is all part of this one. And I might be able to pop those out and remove them, hopefully not too difficult. I mean, I could glue them back in when the time comes, but yeah. This one's a little harder to get to because it's up on the forecastle. So I'd have to, oh, look at that. We fixed part of it already. There we go. The prow. Well, the prow's supposed to be a little bit further out than that. Maybe we'll work on that too. I'm thinking I pull the prow out and maybe move the figurehead down just a tad, and yeah, that'll be more appropriate. Or I don't know. I'll look at some examples. So what's the next phase? Oh yeah, and these masts look like they're basically the same part, except this one's a little bit different because of this bend here. So I don't know. Maybe getting a second one and pulling the best masts. I'm still going to try and melt this into position, though. We'll see how far we get with that. That might end up being the first step, because all of these have to be kind of rebent. This one's the best one, because it's the straightest right now. This one is crooked and bent. So, yeah, there's that. So, all right, next step. I'm going to have to play with this a little bit, see how well it fits together. But yeah, do some stuff off camera. I'm going to get a hold of some Sculpt-A-Mold too, because I think that'll be useful for these larger holes, making a Sculpt-A-Mold seal. I didn't want to go Sculpt-A-Mold because it's a bit more like clay than plastic, although I I think they make an epoxy version of that too. I'm gonna look for that. But yeah, just finding the best way to get these two halves to meet, and then getting them together in a way where they're permanently attached, and then filling the major holes, and then working on the smaller holes. And I don't know if I have to weight it, because it's honestly, it feels pretty good. The hull is pretty flat too on the bottom, so it's interesting. It's got a little mark here. Yeah, so yeah, put it together, seal the holes, fix the little doodads. We'll probably remove the rest of the masts. We'll figure out what we're going to do to replace the missing parts. Figure out what we're going to do with this front part here. And then we'll work on painting it, priming it and painting it. But yeah, this should be a pretty fun project. And you're going to get the fast version of it, but I'm going to be working on this over the next month or so. But yeah, this is going to be great. All right, so now we're on day 2 of the build. It's actually a couple weeks later for me. I haven't really had an opportunity to sit down with this again, unfortunately. I did find out between the last section of video and this section that this is not epoxy putty. This is like a filler type putty meant for filling seams in plastic model kits. If we don't get an opportunity to use this on this build, we'll definitely use it in the future. I have a few plastic cars and stuff I want to put together, so it won't go to waste. But this is closer to what we wanted to get. This is actually the epoxy putty, and apparently they make 2 types of it. This is the smooth surface type. There's a quick dry type that we probably should have gotten. That takes about 12 hours to dry. This stuff could take days to dry. So I'm hoping it'll dry over the course of the next few days or so. I'm going to check it a little bit each day. But yeah, we're going to start with this hole here as our test hole. Seems to be the easiest one I can get behind. And then from there we'll go and do the other holes. This one's going to be a little harder to reach in there. There's another one on the stern that's like that. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 on this one. And then 5, 6 on this one. Not counting this too, I'm going to have to pull that out and plug it somehow. So that seems to be what I'll do. Maybe I'll use the basic type putty for that. But yeah, this is the right stuff now. So hopefully it's not too difficult to use. It has to be mixed a perfect 50-50 ratio. Maybe not super perfect, but definitely as close as we can get it. And basically just mash them together with a little bit of water on your fingers, and you should be able to mold it into whatever shape you want. And like I said, this is going to take days to dry, so I'm hoping to today do all 6 of those holes, see how well it dries, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do to join the 2 sections together. Now, before we do all that, I have another step we can take beforehand. I talked about remolding the masts into a straighter shape. Please don't fall. Okay. And what we could do with that is there's a little trick I learned with plastic army men. If their guns aren't straight and they're kind of bent out of shape, usually that happens when they're stored in a bag. What you could do is you take a cup of hot water, not boiling water. This was boiling. I'm trying to let it cool as much as I can before I do this. Take a cup of hot water and then just dip your plastic pieces in for a few minutes, and then you can kind of just reshape them back into place. As you can see, this wasn't molded this way. I don't think it was. I think it was just bent that way. This one's not terrible, although it could be straighter, but we'll give it a quick dip anyway, just to be sure. So yeah, we're not going to bend this, we're not going to bend this back into place using this method, but we will straighten the mast out itself. So, you know, why don't we give it a little bit of a go? Yeah, this should be all right. Give it a little dip. I'm dipping it, as you can see, just up to there. I think the rest of it's pretty straight anyway. And this will warm the plastic up enough where we can remold it. Give it a little time. Okay. See how it's doing. It also kind of retakes its shape on its own. Not entirely. I've heard it's supposed to, but whenever I've done it with soldiers, I've usually had to kind of rebend it myself, so you do have to kind of finesse it just a little bit. Just keep it in there for a little while longer. All right. Let's see. It's kind of starting to straighten out. Just a little bit. Let's keep going with it. I don't want it to curl up either, because that can also happen if you do it for too long. That's probably good enough. All right. Yeah, it's a little gummy now. That's fine. It's looking a little bit straighter than it was. Remember, this was pinned down to the stern section there, so it kind of formed a little bit of a bow, but yeah, it's looking a little bit better. We'll let that rest right here. This looks a little crooked, but that I'm gonna have to figure out how to heat that up to make that straighter anyway. And then this one probably doesn't need as long, so we'll stick this one in there a little bit too. Get that going, get that mixed up nice. Okay. And then you just let it dry for a couple minutes. Yeah, it's a little bit straighter. That one looks good. That one I don't want. Yeah, that one looks all right. So we'll leave that one off here. All right, and yeah, like I said, this one's a little bit straighter now too. We'll give it a little bit more of a dip, because I feel like if we go up to here with it, dip it really in deep there, it should reform a little bit better. It's almost straight, but I feel like the part that needs to be fixed is down here, so we'll give it a little bit of a go there. That worked pretty well. Yeah. A little bit more of a dip. Just let it sit in there for a couple seconds. That should be good. I don't want to overdo it. Twist it a little bit too. It's a little twisted. There we go. It's a lot better than it was. I might try this again off camera, but I don't want to do it too much in one sitting. Yeah, you can see the mast you can see the seam line here. I don't know, you can't see it, but you could tell it's not straight on there. That's fine. Yeah. These two pieces here. All right. That should be good enough for now. Yeah, it's noticeably straighter than it was. So it did do a little bit. That's good. All right, so without any further ado, let's start working with the epoxy putty. I'm gonna put the stern aside. We'll do the 4 holes on the bow first, and then we'll work on the stern. And I'm really hoping once I open this, it's not going to be like I have to use it all in one sitting. I'll try and put it in some Ziploc bags or something if it doesn't have its own little thing. I've never used this stuff before, so, you know, epoxy putty virgin here, so that's the way it is. I got our hobby knife out because we're going to have to be very precise again on cutting it, so we will use that. And I got a little thing of water here, which we will use to dip our fingers in so it's not so sticky on our fingers there. All right, let's open this stuff up. Let's see what we got. That over there. Yeah, it's sealed. Okay. I can't read Japanese, unfortunately. Oh, there we go. So cut white and blue putty to equal length. Remove coating and knead together until the whole color turns light blue. After it is cured, it can be carved with a molding knife. Smooth out and finish. Okay, I've been told not to do all of it at once. I did watch a video on this. I'll put a link in that below because it was really helpful. Shout out to the guy who made that. Thank you very much. Okay. Oh, you could do little, like, dimples in it. That's cool. Yeah, this is clever. I'm gonna, if I can master this stuff, I'm sure I'm gonna use it for a long time. All right. Let me follow what he said to do, and I'll just keep this off to the side as a reference here. All right. So he said to basically do it in increments. We got like the red light, green light from Mission Impossible here, the chewing gum. It almost looks like that. But anyway. Yeah, so it's got to be a light blue. I'm imagining it might even match the color on the box, so we'll keep that in the upper hand corner over here. And yeah, so we need just enough now to do this first section here. So I'm imagining, okay, half and half, right? So, I don't know, how big is that? Probably a corner of this stuff and a corner of this stuff, I'm guessing. I don't know. I may want to find something to cut this on, so hold on a second. So yeah, looking through my entire apartment to try and find something that made any kind of sense to cut this on. The only thing I could find is the Allman Brothers Band, Legendary Hits on CD. This is for those of you who are too young to know, this is a CD. It's like an early type of record, which is actually more like a later type of record, but since you probably know records more than you know CDs, this is a CD. It's a laser record, basically. Yeah, so fun times with that. I don't think it'll damage it. I'll take the CD out just in case. I have a sleeve to put it in. I've already dumped it over to my computer anyway, so. Although I do like physical media, I am a proponent of that, so yeah. Move our epoxies out of the way. Put our CD over where it's going to be somewhat safe. It's actually, looks like it has a nice scratch in it already. All right, that's fine. Okay. So yeah, we want to cut just the right amount of this out. So let's see here. All right, so like I said, I think this will only need about a corner of each of these. And like I said, I'm going to put them in some Ziploc bags to preserve them, just so they're not getting hard on me. I don't think they will because they're supposed to be mixed together in order to do that. So without any further ado, and I already ripped the corner. That's fine. Okay. Get this here. I put the damn scissors away because I thought I wasn't going to need them. Yep. Yeah, this stuff's a little sticky. Okay, cool. Great. That'll poison me later. That's fine. Yeah, we'll just open this up here. It's got a sticky, it's got plastic on it, supposedly. Okay, put this off to the side. All right, and we'll just peel back some of this. I'm not going to peel back all of it. Only what we'll use. I'm being really meticulous about this because, I mean, it wasn't expensive. It cost me like $10, but whatever. Get this here. Just slice into my thumb while doing it. That's fine too. It's definitely going to happen. That blade is really dull. That's fine. You know what? We'll just cut it on top of here because we don't need this piece of plastic anyway. So with the power of Greg Allman, we'll get it going here. Call me the Midnight Modeler. It's not midnight though. Okay. We'll just put it over here. That's fine. Some CD collector's probably really pissed off at me right now. This is, I guess this is 1994. Oh, I didn't think it was that old. Well, it's not from the 80s or nothing, and it's not a cassette, don't forget. That's probably, I'm looking at it, it's probably enough to do about half of that. Right? So, yeah. Cut an even amount of the white. Yeah. Really shouldn't have put those scissors away. It's funny too, because I had them in a box with all the project stuff for weeks. I couldn't find a pair of scissors. And then I was like, oh yeah, I used them in that video. All right. This stuff is very sticky, by the way. It started to stick to the back of the case here. I will clean this. So CD collectors, do not despair. I also don't think this is probably a hard to find album, because it's probably not. Right there. Okay. I gotta really compare it to what I took off that other one. This stuff is very sticky. Okay. That's probably right. Okay. I have no idea what these things are. That's good. Just noxious gas or something. No, probably not. Let's keep these separated. That's fine. All right, now we have to knead the two pieces together, so I'll use some of the water here to wet my fingers to do that. And there we go. Just get the CD all wet and nasty, and then yeah, we'll just start mixing it. You know, we'll use some of the well, I don't know, probably don't want to get it wet, too wet. Now it's supposed to turn a light blue, so I saw the guy doing this in the video. Let's wipe that up there. I saw him doing it for quite a while, so hopefully this is the right amount. Ball it up just really quick and we'll just see the color there. It's kind of more of a white, so I may have put too much white in there. I don't know. I'm looking at the sections here. Yeah, probably put a little too much of the white in there. Let me put another even cut of the green, because I didn't really cut straight down when I did it. So there's that. This is not going to work. That's already, I'm already getting that feeling. No, that looks about right. We're going to go with that, because honestly, I'd rather do it right the first time than not. Stuff is really sticky. But that's good, because it'll stay in the model. Get rid of the water here. It is getting more blue now, so that's a good sign. Yeah, it should be like a light blue, hoping. Now it looks like, keep looking at this, I'm really paranoid about this. Now it looks like I put more of the green on there. Oh, this is a uphill battle, ain't it? Yeah, we'll just, dang it. I don't know how precise this has to be. I mean, it is epoxy, so. Shoot. That might be right. We'll go with that. We'll just put that in there. This probably won't work now that I'm thinking about it. That's good. That's the confidence I need for this. Really got to mix it up now. Get some more water going here. I was told to sing a song while doing this, so I'm singing the rendition of God only knows what. Ball it up there. It's definitely not the same color, almost like it wants to be. The one he did was the quick type, and it actually turned green, so that was the green one. We'll just keep mixing it. It couldn't hurt. I probably put way too much, but that's fine. I think I'm looking at the two corners now down here, and I definitely think I got closer to an even ratio. The water's starting to turn blue. That's good. Better not let the stuff get in the ocean. That's good. I mean, it looks like a light blue. I don't want to mix any more of it in there because I feel like I'm just wasting it at this point. I took those two corners off. I want to say fairly evenly. I don't know if you could see that there. Yeah, we'll give it a go like this. I think that's good. I think that's honestly that's pretty good, and I can get my pinky finger in there pretty far. So, all right. Well, if that doesn't harden, we'll know why. Let me straighten this out here and put some epoxy all over my phone. That would be nice. Let me just wipe that off there. That's probably a good thing. All right. Now let's try and do the small hole. That's right, it goes in the square hole. This reminds me of that tacky crap you use to stick stuff to your wall. It's not too great. So then that corner kind of there. I'm guessing about right. Yeah, it looks about right. Maybe just bloop, bloop. Sorry, Greg Allman. Jessica's on this album. What? Can't believe the Grand Tour is making their last video. Alright, whatever. Mix it up. Yeah, get that nice in there. Again, it doesn't really look light blue. Maybe I'm not mixing it the right way. I might also try and hit this with my hair dryer, just to maybe heat dry it a little bit. I don't know if that's a thing. I'll do that in a couple days if it doesn't dry on its own. It doesn't really look light blue. It definitely doesn't look like that. So don't go by the cover of the box. Don't judge a putty by its cover. It looks about right. Yeah, it looks like I cut the same amount that time, so that's good. I might have needed to mix it a little bit more. This one I'll do a little bit more. This way we know for certain. Damn, this stuff is so weird. I don't know what I like or dislike touching more. Pancake syrup or epoxy putty. Probably need to mix this more, I'm imagining now. So I don't know if that's going to work. We'll see. We'll see. Especially since I added more to it as it went along. So there's that factor to it. I think that might be mixed up enough. Let's try and mold it into place here on the old wreck. Definitely want it to be smoother than that. Just try and smooth that piece out. Like I said, I'll take probably my hobby knife here, or I'll get a new blade for it, and I'll just try and chisel the deck shape into it. Hopefully it covers it up enough. I don't know how flat it's going to be. It may also retain some of my fingerprints. I probably should have gotten gloves for this. That's fine. Yeah. Just do this one a little bit more. It's a little bit like chewing gum. That looks about right. The paint may also hide some of the textures, so that's good. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it does look a lot more white than light blue on both of those, but that is what it is. All right, so now I think I'm going to do the rest of these holes off camera. So, be right back. Okay, so now that I've made a complete mess and probably pissed off Allman Brothers fans everywhere, we can take a look at the holes I sealed. So I sealed all the holes I talked about. I didn't do any work on the opposite side of the ship just because I wanted to have a side to rest on. And you can see this coaster here is holding the bow down for now. I'm going to have to figure out a way to seal that to keep it that way. But yeah, so I sealed the holes, and it's still a little wet from water. And there's still some pieces I kind of touched. My pinky was becoming my applicator, and then I went to go do this hole over here, and it just stuck completely to it. So I have to probably wash that a little bit better. There's still a little schmutz on it. But yeah, you can see I sealed these holes. It kind of looks like chewed bubble gum right now, but I'm imagining I'll be able to sand it. And if I sand it too much, I can use maybe the filler, the basic type putty, to fill it in. I also had a piece here, so I just kind of filled in over here. I'll make sure everything is smooth before I set it aside to dry. This piece up here I'm not too happy with, so I'm imagining I'm going to use maybe basic type to cover that up. But I couldn't get my finger in there far enough to push it from behind. And like I said earlier on, I couldn't really take the decks out of this without breaking it too much. So there's that. So it is what it is. It's kind of the way it is right now. That's fine. Yeah, we'll just go with it, honestly. And we'll see what happens over the course of, well, it says, well, bleh. Let's look at the bow first before we get ahead of ourselves. The bow looks pretty good. Like I said, sealed up those two holes. This one gave me a little bit of trouble, so I had to add extra putty to it, and I kind of pulled it back with my finger when I pulled it out the other way. This one looks pretty good. Again, if I see any cracks or anything that I need to fix, I'll just go ahead and fix it. With the basic type, I have it. Might as well use it. I might have to get some more of this, though. Honestly, I mean, I might keep going just because I'm reading in the instructions here. It says, what does it say? It says something good. Yeah. It says use unsealed putty as soon as possible. So I don't know how much longer this will last like this. It definitely won't last like this. Even if I put it into Ziploc bags and I push all the air out, it may still, because it's already been exposed to air, become less useful as time goes. So I don't know. I might try and keep filling as much as I can for a little while longer, just so I don't waste it, because I haven't even used most of the putty. I've only used like less than a quarter so far. So let me try and do that and see how far I get with it. But yeah, this is already looking pretty good. Again, it looks like chewed bubble gum. The curing process, again, the curing process says it takes, it should complete hardening by 12 hours. Okay. And it will commence in about 5 to 6 hours. So there's that. And I could start putting marks in it once it commences. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be here. I have to run out. So I'm thinking I can also, it says I can also engrave marks into it once it's fully cured. So I'm going to go for that route. We can always use the basic type to fix it. Anyway, I think it looks pretty good so far for what to expect. And honestly, once we get the ship together, I have a little bit more confidence now in sealing some of the bigger holes. Like I said, I'm going to seal some of the cracks first, like this side and maybe up in here in the deck. Although actually, no, I don't want to do, the deck fits together a little bit better, so I'm going to refrain from that. I'll do as much as I can. But yeah, come back in a short while. Okay, I think I've done everything I can do at this phase with the putty. I've used about a quarter of it, give or take. I managed to seal a couple more holes on the stern here. Keep going out of frame. What am I doing? I sealed this side. Even though I said I wasn't going to do this side, I figured, what the hell. So I got a few sides sealed. You could see there's a little bit of a reaction with the plastic there where the epoxy touched it. I think that'll be all right. I think that'll be just fine. So now I got to find a place to really let this dry. Yeah, I sealed a couple more holes here. I tried not to get too many of the cracks because, again, I gotta, really the rest of it's going to happen when I join the two parts of the ship together, and then we'll know exactly what we have there. But yeah, I mean, this is looking pretty good so far. It as long as it holds shape and the boat doesn't melt because of the plastic, because of the epoxy, I think we'll be okay. Again, it is modeling plastic. I don't know what it is, modeling putty. I don't know what plastic this is. It does mention a few types not to use it on. Where does it say? Polyethylene, polypropylene, all that fun stuff there. So that is what it is. Oh, and I went ahead and I cut the two tabs and the weight out of the boat, the little launch, and I went ahead and made a back seat area and some separations, some seats. I probably got to make them flatter. I kind of just globbed a whole bunch on there. I might turn that into like a tarp with a piece of rope on it or something. I don't know, something like that. But you can kind of see that right there. So yeah, so now I'm going to do cleanup. I've done basically everything I can do today. I'm out of time, unfortunately, but I will come back to this soon. I'll check it again tomorrow to see if it's dried at all. If it's a 12-hour putty, it might be good, but it might need a few days. I'm also going to try and save these two guys, and I will show you how I'm planning on doing that. So, all right, so I got 2 Ziploc bags. I'll try and put them each in their own separate little Ziploc bag. We'll do the green guy first here. Again, I don't know how long it's going to last. I would love to only have to use this one batch, but who knows? It may not work in our favor, and it may get stuck in here too, because I don't know if the plastic is going to react to the putty. Maybe we'll put them in a bigger bag. No idea. But yeah, we'll try and save that, because I would like to use as much of this as possible. It was a little pricey in terms of modeling supplies. That's fine. So yeah, get those nice and good in there, get all the air out, and seal them up. Hopefully this works nice. We shall see. And then we're going to clean up the rest of the stuff here. Let me see if I can't put the stuff in here, and how I can do that. So yeah, I think everything should probably dry okay, just like that. And yeah, we're already touching one of the sides here. That's good. That's exactly what I wanted. That's fine. Yeah, that's not gonna be good. Okay, so that's not gonna work. So I will take. Great. I will take the box out. That could go like that, and that can go like that, and hopefully this doesn't be disturbed, just like that. Hopefully that stays. And we'll put our little boat in there along with the rest, and I'll find a nice spot for this to dry, and hopefully it'll stay upright and we won't have a problem. So we'll be back soon with this. Okay, so it's been about a week, and the epoxy has definitely cured, which is good. I'm really happy about that. It doesn't look like any spots are soft either. It's looking really good. Yeah, I think, yeah, oh, you can hear that. Yeah, I think this did really well. So I think the next step then is going to be to sand it down and recut the deck planking grooves into the hull, which we'll attempt a little bit on camera today. But yeah, I'm going to do most of that off camera anyway, because that's going to be a little long and tedious. I did get the 2 recommended sandpapers for this. One website, I forget where, said to start with a 320 grade sandpaper and then switch to a 400 grade, finer grade sandpaper. These are really fine grade sandpapers, by the way. Yeah, and that should do the trick. Hopefully making it even smoother and getting rid of some of the fingerprints and other marks that have been left behind. I can see a few of them, but it shouldn't need that much work, to be honest. And if we go a little too far with it, like this hole here has really got me a little bit weary about the sanding part, just because of the trouble I had with it. You can kind of see it in there. Hold on. You can kind of see it in there. It looks like it has good backing though. Oh, that one, yeah. Ooh, there we are. That's the right one. Okay. It's definitely hard, because I can touch it. I'm not going to touch it too much. I don't want to mess it up in case it breaks. I don't know how hard it really is. I mean, it's epoxy. It should be pretty hard. The interesting thing, though, is that I can see on the boat, the little boat, just some kind of clear bits here that almost look like plastic. You can't really see them. You might be able to. But around the edge here, you can kind of see where it looks a little bit more like plastic than clay or anything like that. So, yeah. I'm hopeful about it, and I think some of these turned out really well. So yeah, without any further delay, let's crack the sandpaper open and see what we have. Yeah, so really quick, I just tried fitting the boat together just to see how much the bits I fixed in between are going to get in the way. This top one doesn't seem to get in the way at all. The bottom one, on the other hand, might be a little bit of an issue. I might have to sand that down at the joint. But otherwise, I'm looking at the little cargo hatch coupling there, and it seems to go as far in as it did before. It's just, again, I'm seeing, yeah, you can see this like little overlap there. We're gonna have to play with it when we get to that part, but I think that's definitely gonna be part 2 material. So yeah, without any further delays, let's crack the sandpaper open here. I got the smaller sheets, which were a little bit more expensive than the bigger sheets, but there was more of them, so I figured, you know what, future projects, I'm going to use this stuff a lot more because I like it. I definitely like it. So yeah, we'll get around to those in the future. If we don't use everything here, we're not going to use all of these, but yeah. And my old school scissors. I'm going to just cut a length of the sandpaper there, just so it's easier to handle. Stick that up there. Okay. So yeah, we'll start on the bow. I'm thinking, I always try to start a project at the hardest point, and I think this point here, being that I had so much trouble molding it, is probably going to be the hardest point. So, oh yeah, we could wet sand it. Hold on a second. Yeah, so I still have our little bottle half here. I'll probably keep that for a while because honestly, if I have it, it's not sitting in a landfill polluting the planet. So that's the way I look at it. I've never actually wet sanded before. My dad had a few tips on it. I think you use a block or something behind it. Well, hold on a second. Yeah, so I have these shims here. I used these to fix my kitchen cabinets a while ago. They're pretty good. They're pretty cheap. They're definitely very flimsy wood. But yeah, what did I do with that piece there? Where did it go? Where in the world is the piece of sandpaper? All right, I don't know where that went. I think my apartment ate it. It's ridiculous. I looked all over for that. Spent too long on it. We'll just cut another piece. We have plenty of it. That's fine. All right. So, yeah, we're gonna use our shim here, and we'll just wrap it around the edge there. I think. I don't know. I don't know if we want to wet sand, to be honest. Let's try it dry first, and then we'll see what it does, because we may not need it to go pretty crazy. But yeah, let's get in here and just try and work on it a little bit. Going pretty well. It's really smooth now. I mean, all of it's very, very smooth feeling, but yeah, this piece is even smoother. I think we want to get it to finger smooth on the deck there. So and the water, whatever. We'll try that a little bit. Honestly, it's not a good example of the ease of this thing, and I could feel the dip from where my finger in the inside, this finger exactly, was pulling it back while it was still wet. So there's that aspect. I mean, I think if I get it wet, it's not gonna reactivate it. Forget the shim. We don't need that. Just dip it a little bit here. It's a lot harder than I thought it was going to be, but that's fine. I mean, it's plastic based, so it should be like that. Yeah, now we're starting to take some of the excess off there. Let me get a paper towel for this stuff. Hold on. Yeah, I just don't want it to be continuously wet, so use a little paper towel there just to wipe it down. I'll go with dry sanding a little bit more. Yeah, it's chunked up over there. This is really smooth. Don't breathe this. Oh, this stuff is so awesome, I gotta say. I thought it was gonna like be brittle, but it totally isn't. Oh, you can make a whole model out of this stuff. That's really cool. It's really smooth now. I think it needs more like on the here's the keel, right? This line they call the keel. I realized most of my my sailing lingo I haven't explained. We'll get there. Right now we're working on this. Yeah, so along the edge of the keel here on this side, this bit is definitely a little bit caked up, so I'm just going to roll it like that and try and get in between there. It might take some of the plastic away, but I'm not worried about that. Yeah, this is going to need some serious work on it. All right, we'll keep working on that spot, and then I'll start in on one of the other ones. But yeah, I mean, you can kind of see the smoothness there. You can't really feel it, but it's definitely a different texture than before, so that's good. And I think, again, I just need to get that bit by the keel there, so that should be all right. All right, so I've been working on the bow for a few minutes now. As you can see, it's worn down a little bit more. I still got a ways to go on this keel piece, but in terms of flatness for the main piece, I don't think I have to take it too much further. There is a little bit of a globule you can kind of see the mark of. So I don't know if I'm going to go back and maybe try to fix that with the basic putty or something like that. This feels pretty smooth now. This is definitely smooth. I'm going to have to reshape the line and the hull here a little bit, but that's fine. That'll actually bring me to, if I have usable leftover putty. Hopefully I do, but we'll see. Everything else is pretty smooth, and this piece looks pretty good, so I think I'm going to start working on this piece. And just as a comparison, let's not break the anchors off here. Yeah, I can already look. It's I don't know if you could see the difference on the camera there, but the bow is pretty smooth, and you can kind of still see the roughness in the stern pieces there. Definitely that little ribbing that happened there. I'm actually going to leave this piece up on the deck here alone because I want to fill that in. It definitely dipped down too far, and I want to fill it in a little bit more than it is so I don't lose the level on the deck. We'll see. But yeah, sanding is a lot easier than I thought it would be. It's pretty easy once you get a rhythm down. I mean, sanding in general is pretty simple. I think Nick Offerman said that in his wood shop, when people work towards the end of the day, he likes to just commit them to sanding things because it's a pretty steady going process. Either way, we're gonna keep going with the stern here and see what we can figure out. But yeah, this is great stuff. I like working with this. Honestly, it was a little bit it was kind of intimidating when I first went to go use it, especially when it's in its wet phase. But now that I've seen the end product here, I definitely like using it. It's going to become kind of a piece on my next model projects, I think. I think I should keep some on stock, if possible. I don't know how long it lasts. So the other thing too is I've wanted to work with epoxy resin for a while now, mostly the clear type, the liquid kind of type. I have a few ideas for that, so stay tuned for projects involving that stuff. But yeah, this is good stuff. And yeah, as far as wet sanding goes, I really haven't had the need to do it. It might keep the dust down a little bit, but other than that... Ooh, yeah. Feel that. That's smooth. It's like a baby's bottom there. Not so much on the top. I got to get the edge, but underneath is... the side is very good. I like that a lot. Let's get this bit here. It's getting there. Yeah, 320 is definitely the grade you want to use for this. The 400 might clean it up even more, and I might give it a once over with the 400 when I'm done with the 320, when I'm satisfied with the 320. Yeah, so you can see it's starting to wear down this edge here. I think I had it out a little bit further than that, but yeah, for the most part, that's pretty good. Getting there. Like I said, a lot of the pieces I filled in don't really block the joining of the ship, except for, I think, maybe this piece here, so not too worried about that. I'll maybe clip it back. We'll see. Alright, so to get an idea about this, sanding is progressing. I think it'll be a time-consuming task at the very least, but I don't think it's going to be difficult. The 320 seems to do a pretty good job of really sanding it down finally. I was really going to be worried about over sanding it, but I think I'd really have to work at it for a while to do that. It's getting very, very smooth. The stern section pieces are getting very, very smooth. This part is very, very smooth. Almost as smooth as the plastic, although you can feel the ribbing there. I guess up here it's a little bit sort of like that. Like I said, I'm going to use a hobby knife and just chisel in the lines from the decking into the new pieces, and hopefully get it to match as well as possible. And then I have a few pieces like down here. You got a little bit of a dip that goes a little bit too far in there. I'll either use more of the epoxy putty to fill that in, if it's still good. I'm going to check that in a minute, by the way. Or I'll use the basic putty, because I feel like the basic putty might be able to do that too. So there's that. But these are pretty smooth. This is a lot smoother than it was. I got rid of that ribbing there, but like I said, there's a little bit of a concave aspect to some of that. So I think it's just going to mean taking my time with it. Off camera, I'm going to do a bit. And yeah, we'll get it as perfect as we can get it. And I have high hopes for this. I think it's really gonna, I think this project's gonna work out. Initially I wasn't sure, but honestly, I think this stuff is gonna do what we want it to do. I really do. So yeah, all that being said, I think it's time we check our pouch here with the leftover epoxy putty, just to see if it survived as long as it took to cure this thing. And survey says it's still bendable. I'm not going to take it out because it tends to be messy, although I'm seeing a little bit of a whitening effect happening on the green there. I don't know if it's just the lighting I have in here or what. Could be I mean, they're sealed in separate bags. Maybe I need to put them in even more separate bags, but they're soft. So I have high hopes that I can use the rest of this stuff for the rest of this project, and I don't have to buy more. That would be a good thing. That'd be a great thing. But yeah, we'll put it back in our pouch here. And we'll stick our light-proof tape on top of there. It's just gaffer's tape. It's fine. Yeah. All right. So I think that's going to do it for part 1. I'm definitely going to work on this between part 1 and 2 a little bit just to get the sanding perfect. And I'll see where else I can fill in some of these dips here. This is definitely going to get a glob of something. What that is, I have no idea. It might be the regular epoxy putty, it might be the basic putty, who knows. We'll figure that out. But yeah, I think when we come back to this, it's going to be time to finally join this model together. And I'm looking forward to that. Like I said, this bit here, I probably got to trim that a little bit. I think I was a little overzealous with that. And I'm guessing I probably have to build some kind of support legs for the bottom. Maybe some coffee stirrers or something I can cut to piece, something. Yeah, I have wooden coffee stirrers. I have abundance. I have an abundance of those right now, so I can use them as supports for the bottom piece. Maybe just glue them inside the hull and then extend them into the other section of the hull and be able to join them together that way. So hopefully there is a solution there. I know our top little U-bend cargo hatch piece there is going to be where we're gluing that. And I was hoping to connect it together in episode 1. I did buy some Loctite glue. Again, nothing is sponsored, by the way. But I'm going to save this for part 2. So yeah, like I said, I think that's going to do it for us on this one. Thank you so much for joining me. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. And stay tuned for part 2 because this project is far from over. We still have to paint it. I'm going to get an airbrushing kit to do that. And yeah, we got to figure out just exactly how this thing is going to form together. But I have high hopes for it, to be honest. So, sailing on into the future. Thank you for joining me. I'll catch you next time.